This is round 2 of our kind of health and wellness coaching
Yes.
for your Exo Academy stuff. I like the new hat. I see it prominently displayed on the
Oh,
bed.
oh, this whole
Like
thing.
that very fashionable hat over there. Someone with excellent style sense. How'd your other sessions go last week?
Oh man, it was really good.
Awesome.
Really, really, really good.
I'm
Great.
really glad to hear that. Today we're going to go over the exercises that I've kind of set out for you. The whole goal of this is really twofold. Part number 1, it's establishing healthy habits, making sure your hands, wrists, arms, shoulders, neck, back, etc. stay healthy. But also, one of the really great things, especially for someone who's been in a competitive environment in traditional sports before, you know the power of a warm-up or a cool-down routine on your mental state. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's something about your warm up with like the right warm up like mix of songs that just gets you pumped up like no other. It's why teams make their own mixes to warm up to, because like there's kind of like that psychological association which physically helps you ramp up and be ready. So the goal is this becomes something that helps you physically and mentally ramp up before you play, and then kind of keeps you at that steady flow state, and then you can come back down afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So your warm-up, the goal is moving from a whole body warm-up to your hands specifically. You'll start with 10 HEG squats, which are ass to grass squats. Basically, squat as deep as you can. The goal of this is just to get really good blood flow throughout your body. The nice thing about squats is you can do them literally anywhere. You're going to have space at any tournament. If you got space to stand, you got space to squat, basically.
Yeah.
Followed by 10 nice easy shoulder rolls, kind of just shaking things out. Same thing with wrist rolls. You can do your wrist rolls one of 2 ways. You can either do
Okay.
them like this, right, making circles like this, or you can clasp both hands together and do like an infinity sign. Kind of whatever you feel more comfortable doing. Find what works best for you.
Mm-hmm.
It might vary from day to day.
Mm-hmm. Might do both.
Yep. And then 10 tendon glides. Tendon glides are kind of what I showed here in that image. Basically, you're trying to get those tendons that move from your forearm into your hand, controlling the motion of your fingers, also moving smoothly through the tissue that surrounds them. So you just start here, kind of a straight upright position, go down to a tabletop, exactly. You're gonna bend just these knuckles here, exactly. Then you're gonna come up like this, like bear claw, I guess, weird bear claw. And then curl it down into a full fist. Good.
Okay.
And
I
then
like the tension. I
right.
like
You're
that.
just going to go through that 10 times.
Yeah.
And what that's going to do is it's going to get those tendons moving, because they are surrounded by other tissues. They're rubbing up against muscles, they're up against joints. And so getting them moving is also good and helpful. And then the last one is just like a nice, easy hand open, close. Stretch them as wide as you can, close them as tight as you can.
Okay.
As you can tell from the size of my hands, I could possibly palm a basketball if I had any hand-eye coordination whatsoever.
You could do
I
it.
do
You could
not
do
have
it.
hand-eye coordination. There's a reason I played soccer. I have foot-eye coordination. All right. So basically, that's your warm-up right there. That's like under 2 minutes, probably under 1 minute. And it's the kind of thing that you can fit really easily into tournament play. What I want you to start doing, though, is I want you to start doing it before you're going to do... basically before you're going to go play matches, like even in practice. So not necessarily before your whole, sitting down to practice and stream, but specifically when you're about to start competing. Kind of giving your body that association between I do these things and then I kick ass. I gotta get it
Nice.
like that.
Nice.
Any questions about the warm-up specifically?
No, what how many reps would you recommend, I
You're
guess?
going
That's
through
a
this
good
one
question.
round.
One
So
round?
this
Okay.
is quick and simple. That's the whole
Okay.
goal.
Okay. So just 10. I'll do like a set of 10
Exactly.
for
10
everything.
squats,
Okay, cool.
10 rolls, 10 rolls, 10 glides, 10.
That's awesome.
So your break is going to be what you'll do between matches. So like between like your best of 5 or best of 3, or even just between friendlies. This is a really great way to just make sure you're not getting too stiff or too tight. If you know you're going to be playing like multiple rounds of friendlies in a row, like you're doing a winner stays on kind of thing, totally fine to do this after you get your first loss and need to take a rest, as opposed to like stopping and interrupting every single time. But this is also really great to kind of keep that flow state going, both in terms of kind of toning down any excess like stress or what we call arousal, which is more like a competitive state, anxiety state, as opposed to like the other kind of arousal. But then it's also about kind of keeping your body moving, keeping your blood pumping, so you are still in kind of that I'm competing, but it's not overwhelming me. So it's that balance between those two things. So the first one is going to be a standing spinal twist. So you're basically just using your own body to get you rotating. If you're really short on space and you have to do this sitting, that's fine. Preferably you're doing this standing, because getting up and moving opens things up at your hips a little bit as well. But just gentle, easy twists within your comfortable range of motion. Just doing that for 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. Then doing 10 what's called no monies. We call these no monies because it looks like you're reaching into your pockets, taking your hands out and saying, I got no money. So basically for no monies, what you're going to do, elbows right at your side. You're going to be pinching your shoulder blades back and together as you turn your hands out. Yeah. And turn them back in. Exactly. So it's just opening up your chest, engaging your back. It does help you with a little bit of a postural reset. This is why it's a particularly great break exercise. Like if you started to get that slumped round shouldered position, this is going to break that right up.
Nice.
Yep. And then we immediately follow that up with another one that's a chest opener, and it starts to engage some of that deep breathing. The reason that I build deep breathing into breaks, when you're in a stressed or anxious state, you're more likely to start breathing shallowly and more quickly. When you're breathing more quickly and less deeply, you're getting less oxygenation. So you're getting less oxygen to your brain, less oxygen to your muscles. And those are the times you need it most, right? You're competing. Mm-hmm. You need your brain to be on. You need your muscles to be firing. So we're going to follow that 10 no monies up with an exercise to kind of focus on that breathing. I'm going to teach you the first part of it, and I'm going to stand up and demo it. The breathing part of it is place one hand on your belly, kind of like right under your boobs, basically, and then one hand on your chest. Most of the time, we're breathing up and into our chest here. Feeling your shoulders kind of come up a little bit.
Yeah.
You're specifically going to focus on breathing down into your belly here. So like you're trying to push that bottom hand out as you breathe in. So it's just a deep breath down into your belly. And it's not so much that there's some magical property to trying to fill up that part of your lungs. It's more that consciously focusing on your breathing in that way forces you to slow it down and forces you to expand your lungs more. That's the real goal. So You're going to do this in conjunction with a bicep stretch because you've just been sitting here like this for a while, right? So your bicep stretch will look something like hands clasped behind your back. You can either keep your palms facing each other here, or you can turn them out and away like this, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And then you're just going to, with your hands behind you, take a deep breath in and deep breath out.
Okay.
So again, this is more about that breathing control than anything else, but you'll get a bonus bicep stretch while you're at it. And then the last one is just still keeping your hands clasped, although this time in front of you. You're just going to press upward and then come back down.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Okay, cool.
So all of these are about that elongation, that opening things up, making sure you're getting that really good breathing, really good blood supply. Your brain needs it to make decisions. Your hands need it to, do things. Push buttons. Push your fancy hybrid Korean buttons over there. And I did include pictures of the ones that are less kind of intuitive. Like 5 overhead reaches. Okay, that's pretty intuitive. No monies. I don't remember what that is. Bam, there's a picture. And then the last aspect of this is the cool down. And the goal of the cool down is partly to get your mental state calmed back down, but also to loosen up things that are inevitably going to get tight when you're gaming for a while. So I really wanted to just focus on 3 things because I don't want you to have like a whole bunch of stuff between you and getting out of there when you're done with competing. And all of these are things that you can do as long as you have either a table or a wall. You can do all of these exercises. And I don't know of a tournament that doesn't have tables and walls. Not even like Melted Blood.
Yeah, seriously.
Those bathrooms had walls. So first one is a hip flexor stretch. Your hip flexors are located right here. They are kind of where your hip meets your core. They are obviously mostly bent when you're sitting. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a stretch to open those up. So you'll be in a standing position, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. There we go. Your goal is to push this back hip down and forward. So it's not so much about bending this front knee more. It's more about pushing that back hip forward until you feel a stretch across the front of your thigh.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
So you'll feel it there. You're going to hold it for 30 seconds. The reason we hold stretches for 30 seconds is because your muscles contain stretch receptors whose whole job it is prevent too much of a stretch, which is a good thing. You don't want to stretch too far because that causes muscles to have pain. However, those stretch receptors do need to be kind of calmed down when you start a stretch. So you hold that stretch for 30 seconds so that that immediate stretch receptor response kind of dies down, and then you're able to actually get some kind of tension across the whole muscle. First one is the hip flexor stretch. Second one is the gastroc stretch. Your gastroc muscle, or gastrocnemius, is your big calf muscle. It just has a really cool name. It's probably my second favorite muscle in the body. My first favorite muscle in the body is the sternocleidomastoid muscle. And the reason that muscle is great is because it tells you where it originates and where it inserts. It originates on your mastoid process and inserts on your sternum and your clavicle, clido. And the nerve that innervates it is the nerve to the sternocleidomastoid, which makes it the easiest muscle in the body to memorize for a test.
That's pretty. Oh, that's thank you. I'm gonna use that.
That's why it's my favorite. So for a gastroc stretch, though, second favorite muscle here, you're going to be in a similar position. You're going to be standing in that 1 foot forward, 1 foot back position. This time, though, instead of worrying about what your hip is doing, you're worrying about what your heel is doing. So you're trying to drive your heel towards the ground, and you'll feel that stretch down the back of your leg.
Okay.
And then the last one you're going to do is a pec stretch. Pec is your pec major and pec minor, which are located right about here. They're the thing people work on when they're doing bench presses. They are very, very commonly tight in folks who are sitting for a while because inevitably our shoulders come forward a little bit, which means those muscles are shortened and tightened. So a couple different ways we can stretch them. If you are conveniently located near, say, a corner, you can put one hand on either corner and just lean forward into the corner. Your head will be in the corner. You'll look a little silly. It's okay, though. Option number 2, you can find a doorway or the edge of a wall that's not necessarily a corner like that, and have just one arm going at a time as you lean forward. You can also, however, do this with a chair or a desk, right? I can use the armrest of my chair to keep my arm in place while I lean forward and get a stretch right across here.
Okay.
You can either do these one arm at a time or both arms at the same time. Really, it depends on whether or not somebody else is around to hold onto your stick for you.
I'll just put it on the ground.
There we go. I mean, that can be risky at tournaments.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
See,
We'll
that's
figure
why
it
I
out.
give you the option to do it one arm at a time.
Yeah.
Thinking ahead here. So all of these are super short because when you're in a competition, these should not be occupying much of your time or your energy. These should be habitual. And the way that you make them habitual is the same way that you make like any combo habitual. You practice it. You make it part of your practice. When it becomes a practice habit, it's not something you have to think about or be conscious of. You're not making extra decisions when you're at the tournament. You're just doing these things because they're the things that you do when you play.
Exactly.
And when you're doing that consistently, that in combination with the kind of activity you're doing on a regular basis anyway, that's really going to keep you in like tip-top shape.
I will say what's amazing about these exercises is since I study a lot, I can use this in between like my study sessions.
Absolutely can.
Yeah, keep the blood flowing. It's great.
So
it's
I
great.
will say, I do not advise people to do all-nighters, and I'm a total hypocrite because I pulled my fair share of all-nighters. But if you're in a situation where you know you're going to have to study for a long period of time, particularly if you're going to cut your sleep to study, which is not a good idea. Get your sleep, kids.
Okay.
If you're starting to feel drowsy and you know there's still work you need to do and you cannot go to sleep, get up and do air squats. Do like 25 air squats. It will absolutely get your blood pumping. You'll be tired, but in a different way, and your brain will be on again.
Nice. Okay, cool.
But seriously, though, if you have to pull an all-nighter, it's honestly better to go to bed and wake up super early than it is to try and stay up late and then sleep.
Okay, I've never done it before, but I've been up since like 4. That's my cutoff.
Yep.
And I just Yeah, go to
But I mean,
sleep. I can't do
in
it.
general, when you're studying for a long period of time, even if you're not sleep deprived,
Yeah,
even if you're just bored, standing up and doing like just squats isn't a bad idea.
that's
Doing
true.
some deep breathing exercises to make sure you're getting good oxygenation isn't a bad idea. These are absolutely applicable in multiple arenas.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Any other questions for me?
No, I think I actually want to do these workouts like ASAP,
You
you
go
know?
for it. Show them off
Yeah.
on your stream tonight.
Yes. 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 I
Become an
totally will.
inspiration to your viewers. Show them how
Yeah,
it's done.
I want to promote that because honestly, like a lot I've seen it. I've been around tournaments and a lot of like players are very stiff, very tense. And you have to be as relaxed as possible to
Mhm.
perform to your
Yeah,
best. So I'm going to promote it for
that's
sure. I'm
awesome.
going
Because
to
I mean,
educate.
so like, look, I know that branding is not my specific coaching area, and I'm going to leave that absolutely to Amanda and the other experts. But it is really cool to know that like this could be part of your persona. This could be part of what people know you for. Not only do they know you as a kick-ass player, but they also know like kick-ass player who does this healthy shit.
Yeah, I
Like
like
that can
it.
absolutely be like a community engagement thing too, right? You're streaming, you take a break, and you're like, okay, we're doing stretches now, and your stream can join in and do stretches with you.
That would be awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I say
Because
go for
literally
it.
it's not something I thought you could integrate,
Yeah,
but I want to. I
I
want to put these
remember
two worlds together.
when I did P-Chan stuff right at the beginning. She actually ran a stretch session at the next tournament she was at. She was like, "All right, guys, we're gonna take a stretch session over here. I'm gonna show you all what my stretches are,"
That is the sickest thing
which I
ever.
thought was
And
adorable.
can I get a copy of that, by the way?
Yeah, this is
Or
yours. I'm sending it to you now.
yes.
All right.
Okay,
The only reason I
excellent.
haven't sent it yet is so that people don't see my Google Drive information.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
All right.
Cool,
I'll send
cool.
this over to you. And as I said before, even after the Exo Academy stuff is over, if you ever have any questions, shoot them over to me. It's fine. I'm here. All right.
No, no problem. No problem.
All right. You got this. All right.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you so much,
welcome.
Kate. You're the best. Like truly, sincerely amazing.
I'm just
Thank
glad
you.
I can help. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.